Once upon a time there was a little boy named Pinocchio. He was not a rich boy, far from it, as were many in Italy during the Industrial Revolution. Pinocchio had to work 12 hours a day and earn enough money so that his family could eat. The boy worked in a meat packing factory. He hated the work, but he knew he had to do it in order to feed his family, including his little sister. His parents would often beat him as a way to take out their anger for losing their job. They also beat him for not making enough money, and he was always last to be fed, if at all. One chilly autumnal day, when Pinocchio was walking home from work, a man stopped him. The man said,
"My name is Master Antonio, but everybody calls me Master Cherry. I heard that your family is having money problems, and I have an offer for you. I'm in need of assistance with making puppets for the upcoming Christmas season. If you could help me in my workshop, I can assure you that you won't have to worry about feeding your family again."
Pinocchio imagined his family with plenty of food and thought how proud they would be of him if he accepted Master Cherry's offer. He accepted and didn't think twice when he was told that he would have to sleep on the mountain in the man's castle. Pinocchio's family celebrated when they heard the great news, and he had never felt happier. He couldn't wait to begin working with Master Cherry, who he liked because of his red shiny nose that reminded him of a ripe cherry. Pinocchio was to leave his family to live with Master Cherry on the mountain to the castle. Unfortunately, he did not anticipate how long the journey would take, and he didn't arrive until after sunset. As he approached the gates, the clouds covered up the sun, the animals scurried away, and it began to rain. Pinocchio looked up to the castle and a flash of lightning lit up the sky. He saw gargoyles that guarded the castle. When he looked back down at the front gate, Master Cherry was waiting for him. The two went inside and the castle door slammed closed behind them. Master Cherry led Pinocchio down a large hall with many displays on both sides. There were paintings and statues kept behind the glass, and Master Cherry boasted about his collection. But he was most proud of the next hallway that they walked through, which had similar glass displays like the other hall, but showcased his own works of art. While entering the adjacent hallway, he noticed an intense smell of pine and mold that was distinct to this hallway. Skylights were placed purposefully over each glass display, and with every flash of lightning the hall was lit up, revealing the master's work of art. Behind a series of large glass displays hanged hundreds of marionettes placed in specific positions, each with a different face from the others. It was unsettling. The faces were so lifelike, yet they were carved out of wood. As they approached the end of the hall, Pinocchio thought that he could hear some faint screams, and he could have sworn that they came from behind one of the glass displays. Then, he saw that the last two displays were empty. Master Cherry told Pinocchio that he had had many assistants like him. He explained,
"I believe young boys are the best for carpentry because of their smaller hands. But you should find it easy compared to your old job at the factory."
The two turned into a spiral staircase and descended. As they went further down, the number of candles decreased and the light became dimmer. When they reached the bottom of the stairs, they walked down a long, cold hallway and entered the workshop. Another large door slammed behind them. The room was dimly lit by candles, and there was a strong smell of sawdust. Master Cherry gave Pinocchio a task to complete, and the two worked together in silence. Once they finished, Master Cherry told Pinocchio to stay in the room and left to get something. Pinocchio wondered why he bothered telling him not to leave the room, because he tried to open the door and it wouldn't budge. Master Cherry was a strange man. He didn't speak except for when he was giving instructions, but when Pinocchio looked over at him, he wasn't doing anything. He just kept putting nails into the same piece of wood for the whole day. Pinocchio couldn't help but notice him measuring his waist size and the length of his leg. Master Cherry came back, and in his arms he held an unconscious boy. Pinocchio screamed and tried to run away, but the door slammed shut on its own. Master Cherry let out a maniacal laugh and laid the boy down on a large table. The boy looked the same age as Pinocchio and looked completely helpless. Master Cherry had locked down the boy's wrists and ankles and neck with chains. He picked up a hammer, some nails, and a plank of wood that Pinocchio had been making for the whole day. Then without warning, he began to nail the pieces of wood into the boy. Pinocchio screamed and charged at the man, but with one motion of his arm, he knocked Pinocchio down with a piece of wood. He was dazed and unable to move. All he could do was watch Master Cherry continue to turn the boy into a wooden marionette. The boy's arms and legs had wood nailed to them, which made it impossible for him to move. A wooden helmet was placed over his head and covered his face. His new face was a smile, painted onto the wood by an insane Master Cherry. He finished by adding strings to the hands and feet of the boy. That's when Pinocchio realized why the two displays were empty in Master Cherry's showcase. He was next.